Sunday afternoon, it's one of the biggest games, not in English football, in world football. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool. It kicks off at 4:30 at Old Trafford. And I'm joined by a man who won 2 Premier League titles with Manchester United and the FA Cup and the League Cup as well. It's Paul Parker. Paul, as a player, how big is Manchester United versus Liverpool?
It's big. It's the biggest. It is the biggest thing I've represented in my country, and I've played in cup finals, I've played in big games in Europe. But when you talk about this fixture, it's what everyone talks about it. There's derby games, but this game is talked about north and south. And you can go deep south. People talk about this fixture. People in London would talk about Spurs v Arsenal. How many people talk about that? Up here in Manchester, not many. This game catches everybody. Doesn't matter what the league positions are. Doesn't matter the state of performances between these two clubs, because we've seen Liverpool not at their peak. We've seen Manchester United miles in front and everything. But when they come together, it doesn't mean anything for them. As the old saying goes, it goes out the window. These two come together and it's still two juggernauts going head to head. What
did Fergie used to say to you before Liverpool matches?
I think the words kind of just come about, really. Don't lose. And it was
win at all costs.
Win. It was always win. There was never any negativity about go to Anfield and we take something. Even when we went to Anfield, we had to try and look to get 3 points. And yes, it's at Old Trafford, but even given the current, I'm going to use the words, the current state of Manchester United, the fans still expect them to go out there, give more than 100% if you can, and try and get 3 points, salvage 3 points out of it, even though your form and everything's against you. Go out there and try and win the game.
Was it a game you look forward to?
I'm going to be honest and say not really, because you're worried about the repercussions if you lose. And I don't mean anything volatile. I just mean in the fact of what it means to people out there. That's the difference between me being from London and you come up here, you come up to the north and you suddenly realise there's a different feeling about the sport of football. It's just, it involves family, there's so many things.
But you knew what it meant to the fans?
Oh, without a doubt, you got it. Just walking around the streets prior to the game, you knew what was happening. If the result didn't go right in the big games, you didn't really want to walk on the streets because you was worried about having to look people in the eye.
What about the current state of your old club? 12th, 9 points from 8 games, 15 points behind Liverpool.
It's dire. It is dire. And you can be in that position and things just haven't gone your way and you can count yourself unlucky on a few occasions. United can't do that. They can count themselves lucky on a few occasions that they've got 9 points out of it already with some of the games they've played, and they've got those points. But you have to say a team that can't score goals, a team that's got no creativity in midfield at all, no one really you can 100% rely on, and a team that's not really defending properly, the goalkeeper's still having to work too hard, then you've got a problem. And when you actually pull that all together and you suddenly realise you're talking about Manchester United, it's a big, big problem.
And where do you stand with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I think you've got to keep him. You can't keep changing managers. It's Manchester United. And I know, I think the days of managers being there for 10, 15 years have kind of gone now. And we can look at Chelsea, how many managers they've had, and look how successful they've been over those years. I think it's like 13 managers in 15 years or something? They've got a lot of managers, 13 managers and 15 trophies. I think that's what it is. I saw that the other day. So that shows you that it can be done, but you still have to bring in the right people. But then as well, you have to have the right squad as well for the manager to come into, so there's no excuses and allow him to go and touch it up. Ollie coming to this with not the right squad, and I don't just mean as players, I mean as well as players with some of them with the wrong things in their heads. So those players had to go to try and get things right, and rightly or wrongly, he's gone and done that, and I think he's building slowly to something that is going to be decent.
One of your old teammates, Paul Scholes, said on the radio that he needs 4 or 5 transfer windows to get this right.
I think you don't have to be a rocket scientist to say that. You can't just suddenly go and buy it in one. And 2's not going to be enough, so it's going to need time. But in between that time, Manchester United might not win a trophy. People have to deal with that. Have to deal with the fact they might not win a trophy. They might have to compete for a League Cup or an FA Cup. talk about a Champions League spot, let alone winning it, is a long way off at this moment in time. Unless Ollie can create something with a few the three he's brought in already, and add a little bit with that. But to go and get the best players, United have to improve year on, year out to get the right players to want to come. Don't just think because United's name of the past can attract players of today, because they will look at that and go, no, we want to be with teams that can compete and win one of the two major trophies.
Ed Woodward's been widely quoted in all the newspapers. It was in a staff meeting. He did say discipline has improved under Manchester, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I think we have to bring that into maybe some of the players' attitudes, because that's a big issue now in today's world of attitudes of players. How much do they really want to win? Are they willing to work hard to go out and want to win games of football? I think we have to say a lot of them are not willing to really push themselves too hard. If it ain't going their way, then they obviously cause issues. So he's had to sort that out and get players who's going to play who are willing to work hard if things ain't going right, rather than down tools because it's not going their way. So I think we have to. It's kind of some of those players I'm talking about, I mentioned there, some of them have moved on.
He also hinted at times the recruitment has not been right, but he did say that three core objectives of Manchester United are to win trophies, play attacking football and give youth a chance.
I would say definitely two of them, the first two. The one, give youth a chance. The youth, for me, is better when it comes with a little bit of success rather than being pushed into situations, because you might lose the young players. And when we keep talking about giving youth a chance, again, it's about relating back to 92. And I think that's got to be put to bed. That was just one of those things, and there's going to be clubs that will do it. We'll go and get 4 or 5 players.
Fergie at the time said 92 was an absolute one-off, didn't it?
Of course it is. It's a one-off at that level of football, Premier League. Clubs will be doing it in the lower divisions because financially they have to. And they have to find out how good they're going to be. And it's mostly been going on, but they don't get the recognition because they're not Manchester United. But United will never, ever be able to do that again. Not through my lifetime anyway. So there is players coming through, but those young players, you want to bring them into something which is mentally right for them to go into. That meaning the players are right to help them through their games, not just help themselves. And the team is going the right way. And that's when you talk about the young players. Yes, the fans want them, but I think the fans are clever enough to know they don't want those boys coming in a dire situations, because that's when young players could struggle, especially if the professionals in front of them, the established professionals, are not the right people.
How do you see Sunday afternoon at Old Trafford then?
I have to be perfectly honest and look at the recent form of Manchester United and say that I really can't see them winning this game of football. The best I can see out of it is a draw, a hard-fought draw. That is trying to block all the holes up, trying really to stop Mane and Firmino and Salah. You try and stop those three. Mane's the one where you have to box clever, that you have to know that when he's in the box, you have to shadow mark him. You cannot go anywhere close to his jersey, because I think we've seen that too many times what happened. So there's a way of marking Mane, there's a way of marking Salah, that you have to be clever in your marking, in the sense, don't try and win the ball, look to block the ball or nick it off his toes.
They've won every game. How good is this Liverpool side, do you think?
You have to say they're excellent, because the way they're going and winning these games as well, the football they're playing has been excellent. They're not defending as good as they did last season, but when you're attacking the way they are, then they are going to show weaknesses. You look for defenders to be good in 1-against-1s. In someone like Van Dijk, they've got someone who's good in 1-against-1s. They've got a Trent Alexander, who as an attacking fullback is very, very good. Maybe one of the best in Europe at this moment in time in attacking. Their left back is excellent, great at attacking, good pace as well, good recovery. So at the moment, Liverpool are at a peak at the moment going forward. But defensively, they're not as good as what they were last season. United as an attacking unit are not very good. So that's a concern.
When contrast with Manchester United, we heard from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after the Newcastle game when he said, we just did not create enough chances. Yeah, but it's not a Manchester United side, is it?
No, it's not, no. And Ole, he has to come out and say that. If he doesn't say that, people will dig him out. He'll be ridiculed if he doesn't say that. And you sit and watch that game, and the bonus was that I watched it on telly, so I could turn the telly off. That's how poor it was at that time to watch, because there was huffing and puffing at that door, and they were never going to blow it down, as the nursery rhyme goes, because they were awful that day.
So whatever happens on Sunday, you're backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, because you can't judge him on Sunday. Everyone expects what's going to happen in that game. Everyone's predicting, a downward performance of Manchester United. So it doesn't make sense if people are going to say, if he gets thrashed in this game, that's him, he's gone out of this job. There's too many people quick to do that. There's some done it after the last game and they're predicting it. Some are predicting it for this game. It's amazing how people go. They just, I told you first scenarios come into the world of football. It's getting boring.
15 points between Liverpool and Manchester United at the moment. They meet at Old Trafford at 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. And incredibly, for the first time, Liverpool are odds on to win at Old Trafford.